and it's ready. Hey! Welcome back, everyone. And thank you, honeys and hunks, for being patient for us. It's been a chaotic past few weeks from behind the scenes stuff, but we are back. Jade, how has life been since we last chatted?
It's been good. It's my last day of vacation. I went out west to BC with the boyfriend. It was super fun. So yeah, this is like my last hurrah tonight before I have to like go back to real life.
I think
I hate going back to real life.
It is that time.
I think a majority of people, when they think of going out west, they're thinking you're like, oh, going out to California, not British Columbia.
Well, I mean, British Columbia is Canada's California.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like they're directly like it's right. The British Columbia is right near Seattle.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how. See, that's
It's
how
fully
ignorant
West
I am.
Coast.
I don't know.
Fully West Coast, yeah.
All I know is that
No,
British
I
Columbia is on the West Coast.
Did
And-
not put that together.
And also, it's great Sasquatch hunting country up there.
Yeah.
So I want to go up there.
It's freaking beautiful.
Oh, straight up.
Like it's so beautiful, and
I
people
wanna
are so
go.
nice. Like we had to get used to it. All you just had to look like you might cross the street and traffic stops.
Hold up. You going? You going? No, I'll go. No, you can go. No,
Yeah.
you go.
No, they expect like the whole place is built around biking and walking and being active, and so like they just stop for pedestrians. No lights, like there doesn't have. You don't even have to be at the crosswalk. People just stop. Like that doesn't happen here. It was very odd to get used to.
Just more chill out there.
It's so much more chill, yeah. Freaking expensive, but like so
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's just West Coast everywhere, I feel like.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like I
Um,
should talk. I live in New York.
Yeah, you live on the East Coast. You live in the opposite spot. Shay, how are you? You are in some pretty crazy weather and stuff. Everything good on your end?
Yeah, everything's good. Anthony got caught in the storm that night that it was real crazy, and he took a video in our subway station where it was starting to flood.
Oh, yeah, I
and-
saw that.
Yeah, so like thankfully he got back before it got really bad, but yeah, that was a ridiculous storm. That was a lot. And then it was leaking at my job the next day, so I got to work from home, which was definitely the plus side of that storm. I like working from home much more. But yeah, thankfully everything safe here. I know like there was people on my street who live in the basement part of the houses, and they like had some horrible damage. So I'm really grateful that one, we live on the second floor, and two, like even our neighbor who lives downstairs didn't. She like checks that stuff hardcore before hurricane season comes through. So we're all good here.
That's good. That's what's important.
Yeah.
I have a cousin who works at the National Weather Service, like headquarters. It's like his dream job. And like we get all the like up to date things on everything with it right now. Yeah, because his dream job was being a tornado chaser or a hurricane chaser. So like right now he's in heaven with it. So
I get
awesome.
it.
Okay, great for you there, Nicholas. But okay, before we
Shout out
dive in,
Nicholas.
yeah, there we go, Nicholas Carr. But before we go in onto this week's episode, don't forget to follow us on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube at Hardcourt Honeys, Twitter at HC Honeys, and then check out Shay Watches NBA, Auxiliary Things for Jade, and then TJ Rebound. Okay, so this week I thought we should be talking about, obviously, you got the Ben Simmons situation going on in Philly, which both Jade's Raptors and my Wolves have been rumored around. Then we're going to be talking about the ripple effect that's going to be going through that 76ers organization, because that's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
And then just those star-studded teams in Brooklyn and Lakers getting more old stars. But so going on further, starting with Ben Simmons. I'm going to ask you both this. Jade, where do you have him landing?
I have no freaking idea. Like I can't even put together a reasonable like maybe here because it's just so all over the place.
It really is.
Of course, there's been a lot of conversation that he might end up in Toronto. And I am in the minority of Toronto fans that's like, yeah, bring him here.
The motto in Minnesota has changed a little bit as of late when it's been winding down. But Shay, what about you? Do you have any clue, or is this another anomaly player where you're like, I got nothing?
Definitely I got nothing. Only because, and for different reasons, y'all are definitely more on the Ben Simmons team. No pun intended, or no whatever. I can't talk today. I never can talk, I guess. But I don't really care where Ben Simmons goes because I don't really like Ben Simmons. Like, I think he's a boring personality, and y'all know I like personalities. And I think he's kind of a boring player, which I know you guys are like, watch the highlights. Yeah, I watch the highlights. I know. But like, he's fine. Not saying that he can't grow into a more exciting player, a more efficient player, but he's just not my fave. So I don't care where he goes.
See, I'm excited if he does end up here, if he's able to play what I call like the Draymond Green role, where it's do literally everything else and you're going to be perfect. You don't have to worry about scoring.
No offense intended, but I don't think the Timberwolves are the place that he's going to recover himself.
Oof.
I'm just
saying he needs clearly a specific situation.
He'd be playing with two of his best friends.
That isn't always a solution.
Simmons would be playing with a former teammate with D'Lo, who was one of his favorites, and then he's been friends with Kat since they were both in high school.
Okay.
All right. So because it's Minnesota, we're gonna do friends playing with friends. That's automatically gonna work. But any other team, we're like, no, it's a terrible idea.
Oh,
the only reason why I'm saying it is because that is the only thing that we can bank on. So I'm sorry we can't do anything else, Jade, but this is the only way that we can actually have
how are you gonna make cap space for him?
That's why it's and I've already said this in our messages. It's a 3-team deal. It has to be. Rosas has already said that. Everyone says it has to be a 3-team deal. It's not going to be players straight up.
To pay Ben Simmons,
and we will, and we do.
D'Lo.
Next year, because of the Patrick Beverley deal, when their contracts are up, we have $45 million in open cap space.
You can't do anything for the next 5 years, or you have to trade Simmons if it doesn't work.
Why, when you have a trio of those guys right now, why wouldn't you gamble on that?
Because for me, my answer of why I wouldn't gamble on it is that Minnesota hasn't shown that their development system is what I think Ben Simmons needs right now. That's just my personal.
We have a whole new. We have a whole new. See, the thing is, Jade, if you are making fun of our development program, no. Let me finish before you interrupt me, because you always do. Chris Finch and a majority of our coaching crew and scouting is from the Raptors. So if you don't trust us, then you don't trust what the Raptors had.
You don't have Masai or Nick Nurse.
What?
You don't have Masai Ujiri or Nick Nurse.
Those guys hired them, though. And we're just taking them.
That doesn't mean they. But I value.
You're saying though you're not trusting them.
They haven't proven it yet. I said the same.
This is year freaking 1. How can you do anything in 1 year? Tell me.
I'm not saying you have to do it 1 year.
And that's okay then. Why then? How can you say then that it doesn't work when it's only 1 year? How can you say?
I didn't say. I said I will believe it when I see it. I didn't say it wouldn't work. I said I think, in my opinion, that Ben Simmons needs more than Minnesota has shown to this point that they have. Maybe Minnesota's going to take a leap, but that has yet to show itself. And I say this about every team, not just Minnesota.
You say this about every other team besides your Raptors.
I say about the Raptors too. It's going to be. I've been saying it was going to be a rough season last season, and it was. It's going to be a rough season this season. I am not under any delusion that we are where we were a couple years ago.
That's great, but then the glory praising of it all, though.
Their development system has proven itself.
Okay, but you got
low drafted Raptors making things work all over the league right now. Can you say that about Minnesota?
I have to go on our own time. Give a deeper realm with our G League staffing and our players. But anywho,
if you
regardless, and Shay,
yeah,
regardless where Ben Simmons goes, are we going to be seeing a rejuvenated Ben Simmons?
I hope so. Sorry, I'm having a moment because you guys, I know y'all
I'm just
get
done
spicy,
with it now. I'm done with it now.
But like that was pretty spicy.
I'm done with it now. I'm done with it now. But will we see rejuvenate regardless of where he is? Just not playing wise, but just as being a person, because he's not happy in Philadelphia.
No, I don't know if
we can see it. Like
he looks
anywhere
like a sad
he goes.
boy. He just looks like a sad boy. So hopefully he finds happiness. Like, doesn't he have like a hot girlfriend? Is he dating someone famous? And again, I don't remember. But I will probably find a happier. I mean, I would not be happy at Philly. You have fans that are temperamental. You have a coach right
and putting it really
yeah. You have like the ultimate mean fans, like the ultimate. You have right now a coach that is not someone that can follow through.
Overrated.
He's so overrated. His track record does not I think he got lucky with the ring. And now he's trying to chase that high again, and it's not working. Because
the thing that is super odd about Doc Rivers is that basically his whole job in LA with the Clippers was to manage the personalities.
Right.
And he failed at that just completely. And that was really all he needed to do in Philly too. So I didn't understand at the time why Doc Rivers was like Philly's pick when there were so many coaches available.
So many.
But Philadelphia was pretty obvious had become there are personalities here that need to be managed or addressed or whatever it is. And Doc has already demonstrated that he couldn't handle that job.
Right.
With Embiid's giant personality and Ben Simmons' lack of personality.
Why are you so mean at Ben Simmons? Because he's a shy guy.
No, I have no beef with him. I have no beef. Obviously, I don't. I would love to have him on the team.
There's just something about him that it reminds me of the actor Paul Dano said that one time he likes playing, he knows he has the kind of face that looks like it wants to be punched. And I feel like Ben Simmons just looks like such a sad boy that just you want to bully. And I feel bad. I'm not a component. I'm not pro bullying. I'm not any of that. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I've seen his Australian TV commercials. He seems cool. But something about him just makes me kind of want to just be oh, Ben, what's cracking? Kind of be
I feel that why. I'm like that with Devin Booker.
Okay.
I wanted him to win, but at the same time, I'm like, no. No.
I feel bad because Nate said I'm really nice, but you can ask even the guy who's officiating our wedding, I'm constantly just kind of throwing little curveballs at him. I think it's one of those things where it's reverse, boys are nice to you because they like you, but it's more I'm just mean to you because I know you can take it because I actually love you. No, I don't know about Ben Simmons. I don't know the guy. I don't love anyone in the NBA to the point where I love them because I don't know them personally.
SGA?
That would be weird. No,
Steven Adams?
Okay, I say I
feel
love
like some
them.
hearts are broken right now, Jade.
I say that I love them, but I don't know them on a personal level. I'm not in love with them. SGA has a girlfriend. I'm also
I was gonna say interesting that I'm engaged wasn't the first no, SGA has a girlfriend. I see how it is.
It's not that I'm already taken. It's because he's taken.
Anyway, you guys know what I mean, right? Am I making myself
Anthony
clear
watching
today?
this right now?
I don't think so. Only because he had to do schoolwork, so he's gonna watch later. So this is gonna be great.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go, Anthony. We know where you are in the totem pole with it.
Sorry about it.
But so Jade, depending where Ben Simmons ends up, how much will this shake up? Say he goes West Coast. How will this shake up the East Coast? Because that 76ers team will not be the best team in the East anymore.
I mean, they never were the best team in the East.
They don't finish best record.
Right, they did finish with the best record, but like, I don't think nothing gets shaken up unless Ben Simmons ends up in an organization that can help him. Right? Like, some of the stuff being said about Ben Simmons on Twitter right now, there's just so much recency bias going into everything that's being said about him and his game. And I'm like, 3 times out of 4 years he's played, he was drafted, 5 seasons. He sat out the first season with an injury. He's been an all-star 3 out of 4 seasons, including last season. Like,
second of defensive player of the year.
He had a garbage playoffs, absolutely. Does he need to get over his whatever it is and start shooting? Absolutely, because it's liability to his game right now. It's a liability to his career. But, like, let's not pretend that Ben Simmons is not still Ben Simmons. And a lot of Toronto fans are like, oh, we don't want him. I'm like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do want Ben Simmons. Nobody off the table. Maybe Fred VanVleet. But, like, I would trade anybody else straight up for Ben Simmons on the roster. Like, there's nobody on our roster that's as talented, and it's not close.
Wait, Siakam?
No. See, I think Ben Simmons' ceiling is higher. I think Ben Simmons is further than his ceiling than Siakam is, and I think Ben Simmons' ceiling is higher. He's been playing basketball his entire life. Siakam didn't start till he was 18, 17.
That's true. That's true.
Like, that matters long term in a person's career.
Do you not think that?
Look at Embiid. Like, Embiid is another person that didn't start till much later. And I always wonder if that has something to do with why he comes in and out of being so motivated. Because he was a soccer player first, right? So, like,
something like that, yeah.
Maybe he'd prefer to be playing the sport that he actually has a passion about, but he's just really tall.
Yeah. He's not
for real.
Soccer, for sure.
Like, that was, I know in the basketball with borders thing, when they go to Africa, a lot of times it's just, you're really tall. We're going to get you in this camp.
We're going
to get you in this camp, okay? You're 7'1". Come here. You're really tall.
I mean, now that the NBA has a league in Africa, it will be more common
that is very true.
Definitely.
Playing. Siakam was the same. All of his brothers played basketball, and he didn't want to, and he's the youngest, and he didn't want to just do the thing that all of his brothers did, so he wanted to play soccer.
Right.
And he only ended up going to Masai Ujiri's camp because it would be a free trip to the city where his sister lived, who he hadn't seen in like a year or whatever. And he's like, I just gotta play basketball, and they're gonna pay for my trip, and I can see my sister. Sure, why not? And,
I would do the same.
That's how it all started for him. So, like, that part of the world, basketball is not the first thing that kids necessarily think of. Football, European football is a much bigger deal.
Right.
Like when Shay thinks about reasons why she can't be with SGA. First, it's he's dating someone, and then it's just not the first thing that's on your mind.
I feel like he's also, he's only 6 years younger, but that still feels a little weird.
Okay, it's 6 years younger now, but by the time you hit 30 and stuff, get your 30, it doesn't even matter anymore. My sister is 6 years difference between her and her husband, and we didn't even realize it until 3 days ago for my mom's birthday. We were like,
it definitely
kind of different, huh?
It changes once you get older because I think that maturity level equals out.
Eventually,
for some people, anyway. The guy has to be older because his maturity level has to be his maturity level is already lower. So, but
that's true.
So Ben Simmons will be affecting this team, though. The Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, this guy is an all-star talent who is just getting relentlessly beaten down for some reason or another. But
it's easy right now, I guess.
yes, it is. It is a very easy target. But
Yeah,
so
and
that
I mean, even though I'm kind of mean to Ben, I think that I don't want to be like. It's more like in fun. Like maybe he's like my
no,
secret
see,
brother
you
or
don't like him,
something.
but you know it's all on you. It's
Yeah, no,
nothing
like
against
Right, you
him
don't actually
personally.
think he's, yeah, exactly. It's good.
I
Like
don't
that's
think he's
just
a bad
like I
person
said.
at all. No.
Did I want Devin Booker to win the finals with it? Yes, but that was because Chris Paul was going to win it. But I
Right.
wasn't like, screw you, I hate Booker. But I'm like, this is just a little adding on the cake to it. But
This is a good moment. I would like to gloat a tiny little bit because back when Minnesota moved on from Andrew Wiggins, I wrote an article and said that Minnesota has figured out what the Sixers need to do. And with that was, yeah, you've got two high draft picks close together. They're not going to work together. And I got roasted on Twitter by Philly fans for saying, one or the other guys, they're not going to win together.
Yeah.
This was like December. It'll be 2 years ago in December I wrote this. So like
you can have the duo
very
talent.
pleased with that. Yeah.
You can have the
They
duo
have to be
talent,
able to
but that's
work
because you're planning on one of them leaving.
Yeah.
You're like, how can I trade this one?
Yeah.
And unless they just work together, and they just didn't.
No, yes, that's true. But
You know, and it's not a commentary on either of them as players. Their
don't mix.
skill sets do not complement each other as number 1 and 2 stars. They just don't. That's okay.
But Shay, is this a make or break year for Doc? Even though he has lost Ben Simmons, but still, like,
I think it's weird because Doc seems to be a little bit too untouchable. He's not successful. He doesn't really have the ability to do player development, or a consistent player development. He is not good at leading a team, or he doesn't like rebuilding. Like he has made that very clear. So why is he still like employed, and not employed in like mostly in the head position? Because with his experience and stuff, I could see him maybe being an asset, in
assistant
some kind
head
of
coach.
Yeah.
not
Which
even
I found
assistant-
out that's a position. It's not just assistant coach; it's assistant head coach. I was just like, what?
It seems
Well-
like teams like use the positions in coaching that they want to use, and if they're not using it, like not every team has the exact same set of coaches.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
So I could see him doing more on like even though he's not great with development, but like training or strength building coach, like that kind of stuff, because like that seems to be maybe where he's more talented, not leading a team.
That was interesting that you said he seems untouchable, because like I have the same kind of feeling. Like, why is he always like so quickly hired? And he must have some kind of presence in person. That's the only thing I can.
Right.
It's the players. It's the players.
Right.
It's straight up the players.
It has
You think?
to be, because the rest hasn't been there. You know, he doesn't have multiple rings. He's got one with a team.
He's got
that
one.
One, if I
Right.
remember correctly. You know, so like he's a lot like Ty Lue for me. Like the name is always up there in the conversations, but has he really done it in a team that, you know, you really have to attribute it to the coaching? Not really.
Both of those team, the finals team that Ty Lue had, the finals team with Doc has, yeah, those are teams that should have won finals. Like those were no excuses teams, and you only pulled away with one.
Right.
I
Like,
know.
they would have won. Those teams would have won no matter who was coaching them.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And with the right coach, they would have won more than one.
Right.
Exactly.
The Raptors would not have won that year with just anybody coaching. You know, the Mavs the year, the Pistons, like those kind of one-off teams that they're not your traditional like super team that's just going to dominate everyone.
Right.
You know, or a team like Phil Jackson's Bulls, where there was a lot of personalities that had to be managed to make that work. Even though the team was amazing, you needed Phil Jackson there to hold everything together. You know, and Doc, I don't see that on his resume.
Right.
Side note with that Phil Jackson and handling personalities, they are coming out with a documentary movie or something of the 48 hours that Dennis Rodman was
Yes.
not accounted for.
I'm
Oh
so
my God.
excited about this.
I'm
I
just
saw that and I'm like, that's a
worried.
they do this right after Malice at the Palace. Yes, this is brilliant. Let's stir up all the NBA dirt right now. I love
I
it.
wonder how, I have to check, like, is it in pre-production? Is it in production?
Right.
I have
It
to
seems
check.
like it sounded like it was a brand new thing. that
It's
started
new,
from what I
yeah.
read.
Yes, it's something that's brand new. But like, I'm curious when they're gonna make like the movie of like when there was the reffing scandal and stuff. Like, I want to see more of this
I want
dirt
it
coming out.
all.
Yeah.
I love the
It's
tea.
gonna
I
be
love
great.
it.
This is totally not on basketball, but we still got to be
It's basketball
still
adjacent.
excited
It's
for it.
basketball.
But
It's
all right,
basketball.
speaking of Doc, who has more pressure though this year, Embiid or Doc?
Embiid. Oh.
Ooh, we got a showdown at high noon. Jade,
Embiid was an MVP finalist this year. I think Embiid's safe for at least one more. Like, if he has a bad season, maybe at the end of next season we talk about it. But coming out of the season he had, I think Embiid, and the fact that Simmons is on the way out, Embiid is untouchable with Philly right now.
I guess when you put it that way, yeah. Shay, what is your defense for Doc having more pressure? Or
Embiid having more
Embiid, yes.
So my thing is that, like, because he was an MVP candidate or finalist, right? Is that what he was?
Yeah,
like
finalist.
He was in the conversation, and because he had such a good season, I think there's going to be a lot of expectation from again a fan base that is very, very tough to impress, and
but
minute
he loves that.
I just
He thrives
it's
on
a troll
it.
player with a troll city.
And there's somebody's going to have to compete to become the new number 2 on the team if Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons isn't showing up for training camp as of right now. He's going to get all those extra
He's
points.
losing so much money.
He's going to lose so much money.
He's losing so much. It's going to be.
Have you looked it up? I haven't looked it up.
For the extended amount of time that he is planned to sit out, it's going to be over $1 million.
Wow.
Oh, just think you're so dedicated to get out of a spot that you're willing to toss away $1 million. I know he's got a lot more, but still.
It doesn't surprise me that it's Philly. Is the place that someone's like, I don't even care. I'm
right.
Done.
Please, just get me out.
Just get me out of there.
Like, it's the least surprising place in the NBA to hear that story to me.
That's what. When it comes to Philly, it's just the worst. But so Embiid, he's number 1, but losing number 2. Who has to step up more now? Do we got Tobias Harris? Their young star Maxey, he's killing it. I have a dark horse candidate potentially with Seth Curry. Shay, what do you think with this?
I don't want to bet on Seth Curry. He's so inconsistent from game to game more than like within the games. But I would probably say Tobias Harris would be the safest bet there. Jade said no. She already said no.
I do not understand why he's making so much money.
Yeah?
To buy, so much money. I don't understand. He's going to make $34.35 million this 2020. $36 million he's making this year. $38.5 next year. Who would pay Tobias Harris that much money?
I mean, he is a border 20 and 10 guy every year. But I would have him. He is the best third, when you have a big 3 taking to the finals, he's the perfect third option.
Yeah.
He's the Chris Bosh and Kevin Love, but he shouldn't be your number 2.
I think
but what if he comes into
he
that?
Needs to be number 2 this year.
Right. That's why I'm thinking.
Tobias though he's been in the league for a while now. I think he's got 9 years in the league.
Yeah, I don't think he's taken another big step.
I think he's killer consistently. Like he is one of the most, but you're not getting crazy flashy from him.
No. See,
to
Shay's point, I would bet on Seth Curry. I think he had kind of a breakthrough season last season, and I think he's going to ride that. That momentum. I can't imagine being there with Curry. First of all,
no. In the same era,
really hard to play at the same time as Steph Curry and be his brother. Like, no, thank you.
Same with the Antetokounmpo brothers with Giannis. It's like, man, we are back of bench, and this guy's got pretty much every single award that you can win.
And at least they all three have rings now, though.
They all exactly.
And they have a fourth brother that's getting to the NBA soon. That's gonna be crazy.
Well, the thing. Okay, so let's talk about the Seth thing for a second, because obviously it happened last year too. But if we're talking about the pressure on Doc, and then we're talking about Seth Curry, who is Doc's son-in-law, I think they could work out a deal. / he might want to impress his father-in-law by stepping up and becoming that number 2.
Doc doesn't care about that. He traded away his own son.
I
don't know. I feel like
he traded away his own son.
I feel like he likes Seth more. Let's be honest.
That sounds like something biblical. Like the father had to take his son up and kill him or something. It had to be done.
Yeah, I don't think Doc is sentimental. I mean, that might work, but Seth has to be performing. Doc's not just sentimental that way.
No.
At least
I see it more as like Doc is like, you got to do better, and then Seth is like, okay, he wants to impress him.
Do we know where Austin Rivers went?
Austin, where is he at now?
Well, after his trade after his dad trade.
He went to Houston, right? And then he got traded again.
I want to see.
He played in Denver at the end last.
And then he traded him to Washington. So his dad didn't even have the decency to trade him to a playoff team.
Oh gosh. Yeah, he's been traded a lot, eh? He
could at least send his son to a playoff team.
It looks like he's going to start the season with Denver. That's where he finished last
No, yeah, he's with Denver now, but I was curious on where his dad sent him after the Clippers.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, presumably it's the GM that makes that final call, but
right.
I think Doc was president then, though.
Was he?
I think
so. There was a stretch of time where Doc was both president and coach.
And head coach, yeah.
And
if there is one place I could be a fly on the wall, it would be at the Curry Rivers, like whatever holiday they all get together from. Just let me be in the room. I won't even say anything.
Isn't the Curry parents, aren't they like separating now?
Yeah, they got something going on too.
Yeah, they've had some stuff going on.
They've been both being dirty to each other. I don't know who's been worse, but both done dirty to each other.
Yeah. But they'll honestly, they've like said that they're splitting up before and then gotten back together. So
I think also the only reason why it's gotten so much attention is because NBA has been so boring right now. There's nothing to talk about. So they're like, hey, when they're grabbing at straws when they're talking about the personal life of a player's parents. It's not even the player.
Right.
It's like when they make fun of a haircut. It's like when they make fun of LeBron James for his hairline going back. Like, that's what happens.
Okay, but in fairness, it wasn't about the hairline. It was about his refusal to let go of hair.
That is true.
That deserves to be made fun of forever.
Yeah.
I should point out Kevin Durant's balding. He's got some going up top, and he gets made fun of for it. And I'm like, first of all, he's owning up. And then second of all, is that the only thing you got on him?
Right.
Is that you have to make fun of his slight balding when he's about to hit his mid-30s?
The thing is there's always something on Kevin Durant if you look hard enough. Like, do we not remember when he had fake Twitter accounts and was trolling his own critics? Like, this dude always has something else going on in the background. So it's like if you're just going to the hairline, like, you can probably find something better on Durant.
That's the other thing. It's lazy. Be more creative. If you want if you're gonna insult someone, be creative with it. Then it'll be more fun. But Speaking of stuff I want to criticize, we got the Lakers and Nets just getting better but older. You could maybe see. We're gonna see. So DeAndre Jordan is now a Laker. How do you see him used on this squad, Shay? Is this a starter? Is this a reserve? Or is this a guy that's not even going to be suiting up?
I think he'll be a reserve. I don't really know because sorry, I hit my mic. I think the hard thing with the Lakers right now is it is so packed. That is such a packed team. So there's going to be a lot of switching around to figure out the chemistry, I think. Just because like you have LeBron who's not going to be the primary ball handler anymore. And that's coming from again him making that decision as he's getting older. We have, you know, Carmelo Anthony, who has shown himself the last couple of years to be a useful person, but he's coming off the bench, right? So now that I say that, there is a possibility that we could see him come and be a starter. But I don't know. Like it also depends on the health of AD.
It's always the health with AD, like every single year. It's not what he get better with. It's no, he's just got to be healthy.
Is he going to be available?
It's like him and Porzingis are the two that it's like, are you okay? Like you're like made of glass. So I don't know. Like the Lakers is going to be. It feels like they're just going to like roll dice to decide who's going to be starting, just because there's so many people.
Well, and can we just say how old this roster is? They're going to be rolling dice because everyone's going to be injured at some point during the season.
It's the oldest team in NBA history.
I saw a graphic on Twitter the other day saying this was before they added DeAndre Jordan. They had 59 All-Star appearances. Jordan makes it 60. And I'm like, all that means to me is this roster must be old. Old. Like, to have 15 guys and have that many appearances, that means a bunch of those guys had to be in the league for a long time. Like, Wayne Ellington was born in 87. Carmelo was born in 84. Westbrook 88. Howard 85. Bazemore 89. Gasol 85. Rondo 86. LeBron James in 84. Trevor Ariza in 85. And then there's a bunch of guys in the 90s. And Horton Tucker and Joel Ayaya. I don't know how to say his name. I didn't look into it in advance. But, like, we don't even know who that guy is. Those two guys were born in 2000.
Oh, that's weird.
2 in 2000?
2 in 2000. Most of the team was born in the 80s.
Right. 2 in 2000. We're in 2021. These guys are playing the 2021-2022 season.
Those are their youngest.
2.
That Lakers team is trying their hardest to be like Vince Carter right now. They're like, we're going to play through 4 decades.
Like, man, I've seen some, the Lakers, LeBron's getting another ring this year. No, he is not.
See, I have seen that so much. Everyone I've talked to has been like, oh, it's a Laker year. It's a Laker year. It's a Laker year. I'm like, I don't think so.
Laker fans are like Dallas Cowboy fans, where every year it's their year.
It's their year.
It's every one thing though with the Dallas Cowboys is they just end up going 8-8. They're like, this is the worst team, and then off season comes like, this is gonna be the year, and they go 8-8. Yeah.
Every year.
Every year. That's what they do. And that's the Lakers. But so Jade, LaMarcus Aldridge got the okay from a couple different doctors to play. This is coming with blood clots, the same issue that Chris Bosh
had,
who ended his career when still was, besides his blood clot, was still in his prime. In your opinion, do you think it's smart for him to play? Like, he's still got a post-career to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, if this is what you've done your whole life, like, I understand his wanting to come back. I also always remember that he has access to the best healthcare anywhere that there is healthcare.
Right.
So I assume that he's getting good advice, and if he's comfortable with it, I'm actually not terribly surprised, just because he did retire so abruptly. Like, there was no way there was time between the end of the season and when he retired to really dig into whatever was going on with him. and sometimes this kind of stuff can take a minute to figure out from, experience. Doctor stuff doesn't always happen,
Right.
super quickly. So I'm not surprised that, now that he's had time to consult more people and investigate it more, that he's coming back. It's really about the flying when you're dealing with blood clots. It's not as dangerous to play as it is to fly.
Right, because that pressure.
Right. Pressure. So yeah, I'm just gonna assume that he got, good advice. He's still averaging double digits all these years later, and he's a guy you want to have around, I think. And as far as being in Brooklyn, I don't think he's gonna you're not gonna need him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, one thing I thought was funny when it first was rumor of him coming back, one of the first news reports was he's interested with Chicago. I was like, really?
No, he's not.
I was just like, no. There's maybe 4 teams he's thinking of, because of all those teams are title contenders. But if you're not a title contender, he's not going to your team.
Right. No.
He's one of those players.
Why would
Aldridge
anyone
is one of
go
those
to
players
Chicago
where,
right now anyway?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Aldridge is one of those players that I want to win a ring. So if it has to be with Brooklyn, as much as I hate it, if they do get to the finals, I might have to be Team Brooklyn with it.
Yeah.
But
look, I'm not going to be.
Season is up for that reality, because I don't like it.
I will help you, because I am definitely following Brooklyn as my second team this year. So go ahead and put that out there. I live 2 miles away from Barclays. Okay, it's very easy for me to I'm not bandwagoning. This has been coming for the last 2 seasons. But it's definitely official this year, and yeah, sorry y'all. It'll make for some good talks, okay?
I just enjoy that I enjoy having an excuse to just be I still don't care about Brooklyn, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, I get it. I hate that I look like a bandwagoner, but shoot. Being able to walk by Barclays and see the stuff, I'm like, whoa, Brooklyn pride. I'm love it. So yeah.
Brooklyn pride. So yes. Last question of this week. Jade, are either of these pieces going to be playing an integral role for their team, or is this more just honorary?
I think Aldridge is honorary. I think depending on how injuries go in the Lakers, DeAndre Jordan might have to, at least for a stretch of the season, carry more of a load than Aldridge will. That's what I think. That's how I think it's going to go.
Okay. And Shay, which player do you think?
For what? Sorry.
Who is going to be a more of an integral role for their team, Aldridge or Jordan?
Aldridge.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we have once again we got a showdown at high noon. Both people against each other. This is not common, folks. I want everyone to remember this. This is not common.
I think this is setting up the season, y'all.
Yeah, don't forget, everyone. That is coming up. So I think this was a pretty great week, since it considered was pretty quiet, but giving us a little bit taste of the actual season, since training camp starts this month, and then next month it's already to the preseason, which is so fantastic.
So exciting.
So on that note, we'll swing right into the fast break, where I come up with 3 questions for Shay and Jay to come up with, or to answers to come up with as fast as they can. So first question. Which active, I'll start with you, Shay. The 2013 All-Star game is playing not on either LA or Brooklyn.
Wait, repeat it one more time. You broke up a little bit too.
Sorry, it's this one. Which active player from the 2013 All-Star team that's currently playing not on the Lakers or Brooklyn? And I give a hint. It was a point guard, and it was on West Coast.
Oh, God. My geometry. Wow, my geography is off.
And when I mean West Coast, I mean like on the coast.
Okay.
Point guard on the West Coast.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like anytime you ask a question, I'm like, who are point guards? I'm like, Steph Curry?
Okay. Jade?
What year did you say?
2013.
Right?
2013 West. Like actually West Coast or Western Conference?
West Coast.
West Coast. Chris Paul?
Ew! Chris
Yeah.
Paul!
Damn it!
Chris Paul!
Good job.
Good one there. Good one. Good one.
But like that's where, so you're telling me that all players currently still in the NBA that played in the 2013 All-Star game except Chris Paul play for either the Lakers or the Nets.
Right now. Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my god.
Wow.
Yep. That's everyone's. Both those teams. It's the end of career teams.
Yeah,
It's
they.
like, this is the last stop at the station.
How did you dig that up? Because that's pretty impressive stuff.
Right?
That was that. I have to figure out that one again, but yeah, that was. All right, and next question. I'll start with you, Jade. What do all of these players have in common? Westbrook, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Marc Gasol, Dwight Howard, and Rajon Rondo.
Besides the fact they all play for the Lakers right now. Who did you say again?
Russell Westbrook,
James,
LeBron
Russell.
James, Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, and Marc Gasol.
They're all over 35?
Shay?
They're all from California?
Well, Jade was right with they're all on the Lakers team.
That was it?
That was it?
Yeah. 2012 All-Stars. Yeah, that one was weaker. I will give that one. Okay. And last one, it isn't a trivia one, it's more just personal opinion. So I saw on Twitter, Evan Fournier was thinking with some friends, how would you want to score? Would you want to have a loud 27 points? So that's step backs, dunks, Euro steps, all the fancy stuff, or quiet 40 where it's layups, free throws, and like mid-range. Shay,
40.
What would you want to do? Loud 27 or a quiet 40?
Oh, quiet 40.
Quiet 40?
Yeah.
Quiet 40?
Yeah.
Points is more points.
Yeah.
I kind of thought you guys would do the quiet 40. Kind of had a feeling with that. Okay, well, today has been great. Been heated debates while talking about nothing at the same time because the NBA is a little bit slow on news. But everyone be on the lookout. We will be here more consistently now as the NBA season now starts. Plans are more set. But on that note, bye-bye, everyone.
Ta-ta.
Bye.